So Memo really takes a lot of the guesswork out of setting up your guest comms, especially if you're new to hosting and you're not really sure where to start. And even if you are super experienced, there are a lot of advanced features and options you can use to really make Memo work for you, no matter how you've got things already set up. Or if you're thinking, maybe there's some gaps in my communication, or I'm not using text messages, Memo is there to help you add into some of those gaps. So you can share the right information with guests at the right time. So let's dive in how it all kind of works. So one of the first key things about Memo is that it makes it really easy for you to build out your guest comms. So it's the beauty of Memo is that it's really flexible and you can do what you want with it based on what you're trying to achieve. And I'll keep coming back to this idea of flexibility because I really want to hammer home just how much you can do with Memo based on the specific needs of your business and of your guests. So how does it work? So first, you choose your templates. You can also create your own templates, but we have a bunch already there for you, so that's taken off your plate. You don't really have to think too hard about, if you're not sure what your tone of voice is yet or how you want to be communicating, you can start off with our templates. So you simply select from one of the templates that exists, and it's that simple. The next thing you do is you create your messaging schedule. So you choose who you want to send this to, whether it's the primary guest or another recipient. You can manually add another recipient if you need to. And then you can choose how many days or weeks before or after the reservation window you want to be sending the specific messages. We have a little hack.
Hey, Emma.
Yeah.
I just wanted to jump in here when you said you can send messages to other folks. We do utilize Memo text to text our team. So reminders of things that are going to happen. So like on arrival day, we will have memos sent to the team. Hey, such and such folk is arriving. Here is their phone number, because we give every single guest a call or a text after arrival. So then our team has that on their phone ready to go. They don't have to go digging into emails or into the PMS dashboard. It's right there and they can take care of things. We also have a memo text that goes out about the pool heating on the morning of the one with the pool. So then that makes sure that pool heat is correctly going. So when you think memo texting and automated text, it's not just your guest, but you can help manage communication within your team according to what type of reservations are going on and what tasks that you need to do.
Nice. That's really nice. And that's why we give you that option of sending to the primary guest or having different recipients that you can send to as well. That's a nice little extra feature. And you'll see here on this screenshot, we also have this little box here that says, don't send this message if the scheduled send date and time will be in the past. So what does that mean? So this is to really work with those last minute bookings. So say you have 10 different messages scheduled to go out, but a guest is booked one day in advance. You don't want 10 messages to go to your guest in the 24 hours before they trip. That's not the best experience. They'll get bombarded with all of those messages. So if you check that box here, only messages for pre-arrival will be sent. So they'll get maybe one or two of those messages. So this is why we always say to make sure that your guide link, the link to your guidebook, is always included in your final pre-arrival message. So those last minute booking folks still get that really important link and the most crucial information. Lovely. And then the final point here is that you can personalize your messages. All the messages, whether it's template or creating your own, you can personalize them based on the booking info that you upload into TouchStay for each reservation, or you can have that automated if you're using one of our integrations with one of our PMS or booking platform partners. So we have 11 PMS integrations and one with Airbnb through our partnership with Hospitable Connect. So all of that booking info can be instantly added into TouchStay and used to personalize your messages. So these details are pulled in, and we call it a custom field, and it's a variable, so it's unique for each guest. So what could a custom field be? It could be the guest's name, their arrival date, whether or not they have pets. So you could let them know about your pet rules, or if you have a section of your guidebook that's about pets and the rules of the house, you can share that to them. And of course, you can include their unique and trackable guide link. Some of our integrations also pull through the Wi-Fi password and the door lock codes because these can often vary per property. So using the custom field variables is a great way to not only personalize the messages that you're sending and show a bit of your hospitality and that personal touch, but also make sure that that really important info that you couldn't send to everyone individually, like the door lock code, you can do that now because that's automated with these field codes. So love a time-saving hack. So that's very much in a nutshell, the basic version of how Memo works. So it's really super simple. People often think, oh gosh, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do with these templates. It is honestly so simple. If you log into your account, or if you're new to TouchStay and don't have an account yet, you want to go in and have a play around, it's all there and you'll be surprised with how easy it is to get set up. So lovely. That's how to build out your guest comms to start with. Now we'll look about how you can use Memo to share the right info with your guests. So this is all about sharing the info that they need when they need it. And this is kind of what I think is one of the biggest benefits of using Memo. So every Memo message can include a unique trackable guide link. So that's the link to your TouchStay guidebook. Each of these links is completely unique to each reservation. And the best part about it is you can track whether they have been viewed by the guest or not and how many times they're being viewed. So this is a really great way to know that your messages are landing, that the guide link is being accessed and that people are interacting with and enjoying, hopefully, the content in your guidebook. So it's a really great, very simple tool to understand top-level engagement with your guidebook. And if someone hasn't seen your guide and you know they need to because the check-in instructions are in there, that's a note to you, okay, I need to send them another message, or maybe I need to give them a call. The next great part about Memo is how it really helps you send messages containing links to specific sections of your guide. So either a category, a subcategory, or even a very specific topic section within your guidebook. And these links that you create, you can pop in these messages, we call them deep links. So when you send a message to your guests and it has a link to the guidebook, instead of opening on the default, which is the cover photo, the lovely, beautiful cover photo of your guide and like the entrance page, instead you direct them to a specific part of that guidebook to the most relevant info that they need. So that could be the Wi-Fi code that they'd be able to access just as they've arrived or a little bit before. It could be a link to book a trip or a restaurant. It could even be a link to book a different kind of service using our drop form embed, which is something I'll get onto in a minute. We have lots of different ways that you can upsell to your guests using what we call custom elements in TouchStay. So you can have your custom element, your little drop form in the guide, and then you can use the deep link to pop that into a memo message and send that off to your guests. A lot of our customers are actually using a custom element drop form to help manage check-in and self-check-in. Referring back to that guest communication study, we found that 67% of guests say that self-check-in really made their stay more enjoyable. And we've started to see lots of customers now who are using Memo and that custom element drop form to let their customers manage that self-check-in through the guide. So that's another great way of making things a bit easier for your guests. Now, the final piece here is that people often overlook the text message templates and really focus on email. You might be thinking that texts are a bit old school, but you've already heard Tyann speaking about how she uses text messages in conjunction with email. And we know from our guest communication study that 44% of guests do actually prefer to receive texts during their stay. So it's really thinking about the format of the messages that you're sending, not just the fact that you're sending a message. So if we dig into the humble text message a little bit more, and you're like, Emma, stop going on about the text message, but I will keep going on about it because they really are this secret superpower that you have for getting information to your guests. We know now that Airbnb are holding on to those guest email addresses and other booking platforms aren't making it as easy as it used to be to get those email addresses, but they do give you the phone number. So you have to find more creative ways to stay in touch with your guests, and this is where the text message comes in. Research from Guesty shows that nearly 80% of consumers prefer businesses to communicate with them via text, and 90% of the messages that are sent are read within 3 minutes. So that's a really high engagement rate, and there's no risk of that message going into spam, no risk of it getting lost. It's right there on the guest's home screen, and that's just a much less intrusive way of intruding on their holiday, but just letting them have that there on their phone, easy to access. So think about text messages when you're thinking about your overall guest communications flow. And this is a great moment to think it's not just about the content of those messages, it's really the format, and that can go a long way into driving guest satisfaction as well. Super. Then on to how Memo helps with deepening guest relationships. So now we're getting into some of the really fun stuff that Memo can do. So you can combine the use of Memo with other TouchStay features using the deep links that I told you about a few minutes ago. So a couple of these that I wanted to surface that are really useful to a lot of our customers. First is the first impressions topic. This is what you can send to guests just after they arrive, so they know everything is okay. They can send you a star rating, and they can also add a comment. This is really, really useful if something has gone wrong, if something isn't very clean, or if the Wi-Fi isn't working, or if something's not as it should be. This is a fantastic way for you to ask guests to give you feedback and for them to let you know if something's not going okay. Because if something's gone wrong, as long as you can fix it in a timely manner, you can really have a positive impact on that guest's experience. If they don't have a way of telling you or letting you know something's gone wrong, it can lead to a bad time. So this is a great way of just doing that little extra check just after they've arrived. So that's the first impressions topic. Then we have our email capture topic. This helps you collect guest emails in a quite friendly way, so you can continue to market to them after they leave and really help foster those repeat visits. And you can also send a link to your review site. So whether that's through, send them back to Airbnb, if you want to send them to your website or Google reviews, you can just create a custom Memo template, drop the relevant link or deep link in there, and Memo will send off that message to your guest. So it's just another nice way of combining the use of Memo with additional TouchStay features and linking them into those messages, sending them out to guests. And as you can see from the quote at the bottom of the page here, this has been used by one of our quite large property manager customers, Brooks and Shorey Resorts. And they really focus on using Memo for managing their guest communications. And almost 60% of their guests are repeat customers. And they say that that's really all down to how well they're using Memo, because it really helps them stay connected with those guests and it not just be random messages and this faceless business that you book your trip with. It's really about actually having a deeper connection and fostering that hospitality. So a little note, you might be thinking, okay, well, how do I get my reservation information to populate these messages? You know, how do I manage all of this? So Memo also works alongside our integrations. We have 11 PMS, property management solution integrations, and 1 booking platform integration, and that's with Airbnb. And with most of our integrations, including Airbnb, you can use the trackable guidebook links that I mentioned earlier to send through to your guests. So whether that's into the PMS's unified inbox or directly through into Airbnb, you can instantly get that trackable guidebook link into the hands of your guests, which is very, very helpful. And you can also create custom emails and texts to supplement. So if you've already got your messaging flow set up through your unified inbox through your PMS, fantastic, keep using that. But you can either, if the integrations have the ability to send that guidebook link, we totally encourage you to do that as well. If the integration doesn't allow us to do that, because a few of them don't, you can use TouchStay to make sure that you're getting that guidebook into your guests' hands. So, and it's also another way of supplementing the existing guests' comms flow that you already have set up. So if text messages aren't part of what you've had through a unified inbox that you're using, and if it's something you want to start trying, it's all included in your TouchStay subscription. So it's a great way to just enhance what you're already doing, and it works beautifully in tandem with your PMS system too. Lovely. So I think I've gone through Memo and explained, hopefully, quite briefly how it works, and hopefully showed that it's quite simple. One of the things I really want to share is that Memo is very much more than just this basic messaging tool. Because it works completely in conjunction with your TouchStay guidebooks, there's so much that you can do. You can use it to help manage upsells. You can use it to send seasonal one-off messages. Like we have a great example from a customer who during July, they're based in the US, when it's 4th of July, they set up a message template that says if guests arrive just before or with me on the 4th of July, send them a message inviting them to the fireworks party. Like, that's just a super nice way of marking the season and the time a guest is with you, and really putting a personal touch into that. And everyone loves fireworks, so why would you not want people to get involved? You can also, as I've mentioned before, offer your guests smoother check-in. You can gather reviews and guest feedback. Like, it's not just for sending information, it's really about this fully interactive, holistic guest communication way of thinking. So I have some nice examples that I'll show you. So an example that we've used ourselves. So we had an event at BRMA, the big conference last year in Orlando. And Tyann, you can see her in that beautiful picture there in her cape. We had a Star Wars themed event called Camp Padawan. We had lightsaber training. And you can see I'm there along with Andy, our CEO, and Alice from our social media team. And we of course, created a Touch Day guidebook as the event guide. So we had people traveling from all over the world coming to this conference. And so that we could make sure everyone knew what day to arrive, what time they had to be there, where on this enormous hotel complex they had to meet us. We used the guide to have all that information together, but crucially, we were using Memo's text message function to get messages out to people. Here's your guidebook. Make sure you've confirmed you're coming. This is where to meet us. And this is the van that you'll be in as we're taking you over to the event space. So we got to, we put our money where our mouth is, and we use this ourselves when we're running events. So it was a really super way for us to use Memo to build anticipation for this event and keep people excited. Some of you with quite eagle eyes might have noticed on the little GIF here that's showing some of the text messages that were sent for the event that I was attending as well. So these were sent to me on my phone. You can see that the sender ID says Touch Day. Now, not everyone will know what Touch Day is, and we don't really care about people knowing about Touch Day. We want your guests to know about your business and your branding. So we haven't released this yet, but I've been given permission to share the news. It's coming very soon. Soon you'll be able to add either your name as the sender name, or your business name, or the name of the property that guests will be coming to. Whatever you want it to be, you'll be able to put that here. So that feature is coming soon. So stay tuned, and we'll certainly share that in our Rockstar community group, our Facebook group, and through email as well. So stay tuned. If that's something that you've, to add that additional bit of personalization, that's coming very soon. So keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully the product team won't be angry at me for gazumping them on the announcement. And another example, I'm a bit obsessed with Taylor Swift, as everyone who knows me will know. So I couldn't miss out on an opportunity to share this one. So you heard me speaking about custom elements earlier. So custom elements is, we have about 15 of them now, and it's a way that you can embed different third parties into your guidebook, into your Touch Day guide. So the example here is for the Taylor Swift playlist that I have embedded into my guidebook. So I live in Barcelona, and I have lots of people coming to visit me. So I put together a city guide for Barcelona, which is what you can see in the GIF that's moving around. And in there, I have a link to my Taylor Swift playlist, the Barcelona Swifties playlist, because there's loads of club nights in Barcelona that just play Taylor Swift music, which is my heaven. Might not be for most people, but it is for me. So I popped this playlist in my guidebook. And when I have friends visiting, I just send them a text, and it has the link to that section of the guidebook, and they can pull up the playlist on their phone and get excited for their trip. They don't all have to be about Taylor Swift, I promise you. We have a customer, for example, in New Zealand who has a lot of stargazing going on at their property because it's in a beautiful natural area. And they've created some stargazing playlists that they've popped into their guidebook. And then they send those through a memo message to their guests. So it's a really nice way of combining the different functionality of Touch Day and surfacing that in a really cool, frictionless way for your guests. So give it a go. There's loads of custom elements that you can choose from. There's playlists, there's forms, there's calendars, there's different all trails, walks. There's loads of stuff you can do. So have a look and see what you can add to your guide. Lovely. And so you're probably thinking, well, Tyann's using this, we're using this, who else is using this? So I just wanted to show that we have so many of our customers who are absolutely loving Memo and using it to really help with their business. And the reason I'm talking about this and going on about it so much is it really does make a difference to our customers day to day, saving time, improving the guest experience, helping you scale up that guest communication, but still keep that friendly, personable touch. And it's really all about making things easy for you and making sure your guests have a great time. So if you're not using it already and this has helped to pique your curiosity, I do encourage you to log into your account and give it a go and see how Memo might work for you and work for your business.